What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Canelo Álvarez is now in a complete bind. The sport of boxing is now taking back control of the sport and not allowing fighters to just completely dictate what direction they want to go in, right? And not fight the best. Canelo Álvarez, he has been avoiding strategically two-time WBC super middleweight world champion, Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer, David the Mexican Monster Benavidez. Since 2020, Canelo Álvarez has been ducking David Benavidez. Now, the premier boxing champion, founder and advisor Al Haymon, better known as the PBC, they signed Canelo Álvarez to a 3-fight deal that didn't include David Benavidez, who was in his own division, for lucrative amounts of money. Okay? So much so that guaranteeing $35 million at the minimum per fight for 3 fights, knowing he had no interest and intrigue in fighting David Benavidez. The fight the fans in the world is clamoring to see. But guess what? Showtime decided to get out the business of the sport of boxing after 37 years. After being a major pillar in the sport of boxing, they decided to get out the sport of boxing after 37 years. So, with that said, that left the PBC to find a new home, to which they found a new home, which is Amazon Prime. But it's now being reported that Amazon Prime is not giving them a budget, just a distribution deal, which means they're just showcasing their fights. They're not giving them a budget for the fighters. So now that means that Al Haymon and the PBC have to dip into their own money to pay these fighters, right? In hopes of getting it back with the pay-per-views. Canelo Álvarez was then directed to fight Benavidez because he wants to fight Jamal Charlo Cinco de Mayo weekend. He already traditionally fights Cinco de Mayo weekend, the first weekend in May, and September 2nd, the second weekend in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend, right? And so with that said, he wants to fight Jamal Charlo for $35 million, the identical twin brother of his last opponent, Jamel Charlo. And it wasn't a major draw. It wasn't a major success. So now he wants to fight Jamal Charlo May 4th. So PBC said, if you fight Jamal Charlo May 4th, no problem. We'll guarantee you 35. But in September, you got to agree to fight David Benavidez so we can recoup that money. And Canelo said, no, not happening. And he got out his deal. Went back to the zone. Canelo Álvarez is looking to fight strategically now. His manager, longtime trainer, and 2-time well-renowned trainer of the year, future Hall of Famer Eddie Reynoso, has stated that Canelo Álvarez is on the tail end of his career, so they have to be careful and be strategic in the choice of opponents, which edges out David Benavidez. Now he's focused on who to go to the zone. We heard the likes of Jaime Munguia, who is an undefeated former WBO junior middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer. He has a record of 43 wins, no loss, no draw, 34 wins by way of knockout. But guess what? He's with his biggest rival, not even in the ring, outside the ring, his former promoter, Oscar the Golden Boy De La Hoya, and Golden Boy Promotions and DAZN. So Oscar De La Hoya, he comes out, and Oscar De La Hoya, guess what he says? Not happening. No chance it happens May 4th. Jaime Munguia Canelo. It's 2 months away. So Canelo, he already set his sights on who? Puerto Rican star title contender, Edgar Berlanga, who has 22 wins, no loss, no draw, 17 wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 6'1" with a 73-inch arm reach. He wants to fight Edgar Berlanga. Now, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, who has a close relationship to Canelo Álvarez, extremely close, and promotes Edgar Berlanga now, right? He's been pushing for this. But guess what? Edgar Berlanga, who fought this past Saturday against Patrick McCrory and got a 6-round knockout, right? Prior to that, he fought Jason Quigley June of 2023. And he had an incident where he had a biting incident and he was suspended. Edgar Berlanga, at one point in time, he went a stretch of fights from his pro debut that 16 straight fights where he didn't get out the first round. And that hindered his career because now he's up in the level of competition and he's seeming to have identity issues with who he wants to be, how he wants to fight. And so now they're pushing him to this Canelo fight, which would be huge for Edgar Berlanga if he could pull it off, but also his status and his pay, right? But not so fast. Womp, womp, womp. Edgar Berlanga's team comes out and they says they're not ready to take and accept a Canelo Álvarez fight, put Edgar Berlanga in that position. He's simply not ready yet. So there you have it now. The Edgar Berlanga talk for Canelo Álvarez has said that Canelo Álvarez, his number one choice is to do what? Is to fight Edgar Berlanga in his fight, his first fight with DAZN. He wants to fight Edgar Berlanga, okay? And then Jaime Munguia, September, the second weekend in September, which would be September 14th. So he wants to fight May 4th, which is Cinco de Mayo weekend, September 14th, Mexican Independence Day weekend. But guess what? He wants to fight Edgar Berlanga, and now Edgar Berlanga's team is saying no. DAZN is saying that they're not putting up the money for that fight yet either. Not the guaranteed purse that Canelo Álvarez is seemingly looking for. So Canelo Álvarez is in a complete bind because, again, he only has 2 months. He fights May 4th, right? He already secured the venue in Las Vegas. So what is he going to do now? Who is he going to fight? I'm sure they'll come up with an opponent, right? Is he going to have to now go back to the PBC and accept that offer to fight Jamal Charlo? But then that comes with fighting David Benavidez. Or should he just go ahead and fight David Benavidez? Now, we have heard talks that he could possibly fight Chris Eubanks Jr., okay? The son of a legend, Chris Eubanks Sr., in his next fight, right? Chris Eubanks Jr. fought at 168 prior. But he's a 160-pounder, truly at heart, right? So what direction can he go in? What direction can he go in? Canelo Álvarez, that is. He's in a complete bind. You either fighting now the sport of boxing. This is what I was saying earlier, right? When I said the PBC, they knew Canelo Álvarez had no interest in fighting David Benavidez. They knew the world was clamoring for a Canelo Álvarez David Benavidez fight. This is what they knew, right? They knew they was clamoring for this fight with David Benavidez, right? And they signed him not caring what the fans thought about it. Knowing he had no interest and David Benavidez was never part of the deal, they signed him anyway because they had the budget to do it. They had the money to bring. And because they did, they didn't care. But now that it's important for them to recoup their money back, now they're interested in trying to push him and direct him into the David Benavidez sweepstakes. Hence the reason why Jose Benavidez Sr. said Al Heyman is getting desperate. But here's the problem, right? Is that now everybody, again, that was my issue, that they should not have signed him with a guarantee of $35 million, knowing he's not going to fight the big fights. That hurts the sport of boxing, period. The fans are clamoring for that. So the moment he signed a 3-fight deal with the PBC, the world and the PBC and everybody else knew that the fans automatically assumed that David Benavidez was going to be part of that deal at some point in time, and they knew he never was. So that came back to haunt them. But now it's haunting Canelo Álvarez, doing all the ducking. See, it worked out when the PBC had that budget. DAZN had the budget. They're willing to spit out that money and waste money on Canelo Álvarez, whether they recoup it or not, just to be in the Canelo Álvarez sweepstakes. Well, that's going away now. And now it's going to either force Canelo Alvarez to make a decision. He's 60 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout at 33 years of age. Is he going to retire? He's a 4-division champion, undisputed super middleweight. What is he going to do now? Because Edgar Berlanga's team is saying, we're not going to allow him to take this fight because he's not ready. So what y'all think about this? Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. That's all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.